Hey my friends, my name is Jonas. Today I'm coming to you from Cusco, Peru, and behind me is one of the most incredible, mysterious, enigmatic, baffling sites of the ancient world. It's called Sacsayhuaman. These rocks contain mysteries that challenge our fundamental understanding of the entire history of humankind and just raise so many interesting questions. And the reason for that is that the scale and the precision, the engineering that went into creating this truly, truly massive structure is just beyond comprehension. Let's go and explore this together and I'll show you exactly what I mean. This site is thought to have been built by the Incan civilization a few thousand years ago, who were just absolutely master stonemasons. But even so, I sort of tend towards the idea that there is enormous missing chapters from our understanding of history. It's absolutely possible that the history of a site like this is way more ancient, way more mysterious, way more incredible than anything that we today currently understand. So basically what we find with this structure are these three tiers of this zigzagging wall, right? And I'll show you an aerial view of what's on top of the hill. This is said to be a fortress defending that central structure, which is a really interesting structure. We can only speculate as to what its use or purpose was. And yet clearly, I mean, it was of just absolutely massive importance for the builders to go through this much effort, a long line of blocks of just towering size. This is one of the bigger stones right here. Probably about 20 feet tall, maybe more, really. And again, just comparing people for scale. Right away, we can see a lot of the mysteries here. How was this done? How was this accomplished thousands of years ago? Not just the scale, not just the bizarre, weird shaping of stone, the precision. So, just coming a little bit closer, you can see that these rocks were joined together with such truly incredible precision without the use of mortar, without the use of any sort of binding component. Just straight up rock on rock. But the joins are so perfect, laser-like, that this wall is actually earthquake proof and has stood the test of time for hundreds of years, thousands of years. This is andesite stone. Today, andesite is cut using power tools, diamond-tipped drills and saws. The Incan civilization, who's credited for creating this site, was a Bronze Age civilization. The most advanced tool that they had was a bronze chisel, hammer and a chisel. So really, I mean, it's a profound question. How were these stones, some of which weigh in excess of 100, 200 tons, which for scale, a 200-ton stone is the equivalent of 100 SUVs, 100 large SUVs in one stone. The quarry is thought to have been around 5 miles away. So these 100, 200-ton stones were cut, quarried, lifted, extracted, transported over a hilly and mountainous terrain by Bronze Age civilization. The Incans were incredibly brilliant and advanced, but they didn't even use the wheel. They didn't have a written language. So again, it's just completely mysterious. How was a stone like this? Stand a little closer for scale. How was a 12-foot stone like this transported cut and transported over that distance. It is thought that they used wooden logs as rollers, but again, we're at like 11,200 feet of elevation, 3,500 meters. Most of the trees that grow here are sort of scrub-like, really not conducive for rolling a stone of this magnitude. Just extends over a vast distance. These corner rounded stones are some of the biggest, up to 10, 15, 20 feet in size, 100, 200, 300 tons of weight. And what you can see as well is this smaller addition here of way lesser scale and craftsmanship. I mean, it doesn't even compare. And yet that was built on top of this, which means that this is older, significantly older than that. So the question is, what happened to the knowledge and the methods of constructing this for the builders who made that, right? This is a clear evidence of lost knowledge, perhaps even lost technology, and, to take it a step further, perhaps even evidence of a lost ancient civilization. I mean, it is really absolutely possible that this structure, as well as many of the mysterious structures here in Peru, in Egypt, in India, in China, in Turkey, all over the world, pre-existed the people who we today attribute them to. So the Incas were certainly here. They inhabited this site, but did they inherit this site? Did they construct this site, or did they inherit this site? This here is said to be like the paw of a puma. This is pretty cool. So not only were they using these massive and irregular stones, again, you can see a person for scale, some of these stones, but they were clearly very intentional about where they were placing where and why they're placing things as they did. What's interesting as well is that a bunch of these stones have these like peculiar scoop marks, like it's something just scooped rock right out. Here again, we might be getting some really interesting insight into the tools that shaped these stones, because again, we can see these strange scoop marks that seem very like arbitrary in their placement. But I mean, if you look at this scoop mark, again, this is a massive stone. It's very uniform, right? It looks like there was a tool that just almost in one fell swoop could just shape this super hard stone. We see the same thing in a different way on this stone, right? These lines here are clearly not natural. This stone has been shaped. You see these scoop marks here all across the bottom. So what kind of a tool can just go across the stone in a line like this and just scoop out rock? Incredibly mysterious, if you ask me. If these builders were indeed using primitive tools, a hammer and a chisel, please tell me why. Why would they do this? Why would they go through hours of labor just to cut a arbitrary sort of, but very uniform, smooth line into the rock? Why would they make these scoop marks? These questions are all completely unanswered, and your guess is as good as mine. If you ask me, and yeah, this is pretty far out there, it seems like they did have some method, whoever created this, of softening this stone, at least temporarily, turning it into a Play-Doh-like or a marshmallow-like consistency, before letting it sit and harden again. I don't know how else we can explain these strange scoop marks, like the rock has been shaped in these weird ways. I don't know how else we can explain how perfect these joins are. Because really, if you think about it, if we're using a hammer and a chisel on this scale, on a three-dimensional complex surface, to get this kind of a join is damn near impossible. It really is. Considering that it's not just a line, it's got depth to it, and these are complex faces that are matching perfectly together like a puzzle piece. Really, to me, my best guess is that there was some sort of advanced tool or technology for temporarily softening this stone, letting it sit on top of each other so that it sort of coalesces or hardens into the exact shape of the rock beneath it. I don't know. That's pretty far out there. Certainly there is no tool in the history of mankind that we know of. There's no tool in the present day that we know of that can do that. But I'm just trying to think, think for myself, think for yourself how something like this could have been done. I don't think that it's primitive tools. I don't think so. I think there is something super advanced and mysterious going on here. We'll walk through here now and go upwards, see if we can see some of that structure on the top. Here's a bit of a view. Beautiful and massive Sacsayhuaman. Very cool. Okay, so here, this is about as close as I can go, but here's a view of what's on top of Sacsayhuaman. And again, we can see a little bit of that circular structure. Who knows what this once was? I do believe it was largely destroyed by the Spanish colonists here, so thanks for that one, guys. But it just came from down there, and in the background you can see the very picturesque city of Cusco, built right into the mountains. Yeah, what did this structure used to be? What was the role of this circular construction in the middle? Must have been of supreme importance and significance. It's just really fascinating to speculate and wonder. So yeah, again, I'm just super curious to hear your thoughts on this unbelievable, baffling, enigmatic site of Sacsayhuaman. Do you think that this was made by a lost civilization? I absolutely believe that it's possible that the Incans constructed this using unknown knowledge and tools. But I do personally tend towards the idea that, there are giant, enormous missing chapters in our understanding of the history of Earth and the history of our species. And this is very clearly demonstrated at places like this that are just completely unexplained, enigmatic, but at many sites around the world. In Africa, in Egypt, in India, in China, in Turkey, in Mexico, in Indonesia. Peru is certainly a hotspot for these sites that are just these megalithic sites that are built using super advanced and incredible techniques that really to this day are fundamentally unexplained and raise so many questions. And this, it even goes back to this sort of this ancient idea of Atlantis. Not saying that who knows? But this has been a myth in the mind of the collective unconscious of humanity since the dawn of civilization, that we've inherited this planet. We've inherited some of these sites from unknown predecessors. And I think that this is a necessary and inevitable step in our evolution as a species, in the expansion of our consciousness, really in the spiritual evolution of our species as we open our mind to this bigger picture reality of our place in the cosmos, and just how miraculous and mysterious this all is. So thank you all so much for tuning in. Could keep rambling for days, but I'm gonna leave it there. Much love. See you back here very soon.